club, so now they lead 3-1 as they head into the second leg at Anfield. There's the story of the match in numbers, and I was just wondering with Diaz, big moment for him scoring there. He was awarded man of the match, but do you think he'll start against Manchester City?
Well, the way Jurgen Klopp managed his substitutes would suggest maybe not. Bringing Mo Salah off, bringing Sadio Mane off. You would think Jota would have to play. He's been playing well lately, and then he didn't start today. So potentially not. Before the game, I thought he might do, actually. But based on that today, leaving him on for the full game, he might be thinking of the other three.
And how do you think the Liverpool boss will reflect on this match tonight?
I don't think you should look too much into the fine detail of where things went wrong. There's always going to be ebbs and flows to the game. The second half, certainly, Benfica started on the front foot and it did catch Liverpool off guard. I don't think even in the first half Liverpool got out of third gear. It was all really their own doing. They took the game to Benfica and it reversed in the second half. And Jurgen Klopp will know, I wouldn't say he was to expect that, but that happened and they responded. And at the end of the day, like we talked about against the game against Watford at the weekend, it's a job done. It's 3 points, well, it's 3 points away from home, a 2-goal advantage, no injuries, and yeah, roll on to Sunday. And
they're essentially 1-0 up at half-time.
Yeah, listen, you know, they've got a great result there. I don't think Jurgen Klopp would be over the moon with the performance. I thought second half, Benfica, although they put them under pressure, I thought Liverpool were sloppy at times, and I think he'll pull those players up, probably privately. Maybe he might come out and not be fuming, but I think in the dressing room after he'll be slightly concerned about some of the sloppy passing that went on, but they got the job done. They were clinical, and Luis Diaz has given them a huge boost going into the second leg. OK, well, let's head straight back to Lisbon and get some thoughts from a couple of the players. We've got Mane and Robertson.
Boys, you could tell when that third goal went in that was an important moment for you all.
Yeah, it was a tough game. Obviously on top, first half, created good chances. Probably could have went in a couple more up, and then we wanted to, keep it tight, and unfortunately we didn't manage to do that. They obviously got a goal, which lifted the crowd, lifted them, and they started winning balls. We started getting a bit sloppy and things like that. So the third goal was big, but there's definitely still work to do.
Of course, you won't take next week lightly at any stage, I'm sure, Sadio. But another goal in the knockout stages for you, making a good habit of that.
Oh, finally. I think, yeah, but well, I think it can happen, but like I always said, I think we've been winning, that's the more important, so let's go today. I'm happy, but the more important is the goals we score and the points we get, so even though we went in now for the next game and to make the job done at home.
Yeah, and some of the changes felt a little bit almost pre-planned with Sunday in mind, would that be true?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask the boss. But, as a player, I think yeah, we are Liverpool. We are deep the squad, so yeah, sometimes it's important to make chances for the team.
And obviously, very nice for Luis at the end to score back in Portugal. Got a nice reception from the Benfica fans.
Yeah, he got a nice reception from the start. Obviously playing for one of their rivals and things like that, so a good finish for him. A really important goal for us, like you said. It gives us, a 2-goal cushion, which makes a difference, and it's important we make that count now. And next week it's still a big game. We want to be in the semi-final, and we've still got a lot of work to get there. But hopefully, with our fans at our stadium, that we can hopefully get the job done.
Speaking of receptions, you had a slightly unpleasant last couple of minutes taking that corner. They weren't giving you too much love, were they?
Yeah, they weren't best pleased, were they? Maybe quite a few lighters thrown at me, so maybe it will help them stop smoking, maybe. So take the positives, but look, obviously we've seen it a lot. People getting hit, things like that. Luckily they were all quite close to me, but none of them hit me. So it's tough when you get so late in the game. They're frustrated, I get that and everything, but you should try not throw stuff onto the pitch, because it can hurt people and things like that. But we move on, and I was just trying to take the corner and get out of there as quickly as possible, and luckily it was right at the end of the game.
And Sadio, finally, it's a good start to a very big week and a half, eh?
Yeah, great start. So you can't expect better than that, and now we will help us to prepare the next game.
Thank you very much. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Response from Robertson, eh? Managed to find the positive in that situation. OK, let's analyse exactly how this match unfolded, starting with the first half, where Liverpool really were pretty much in control.
Yeah, in control without being absolutely at the top of their game, and a set piece was the was the thing that broke the deadlock. We looked at it before the game. Of course, when you have a set piece like this, you tend to have blockers with people marking in zones in the middle, and we see as well like a diagonal formation from the defence there of Benfica, and that's typical for an outswingy corner because that's the line that the ball will take. Surprisingly though, when you've got an outswinger, you tend to have somebody on that back post, and if you look at it here, there's the perfect angle. Someone could have just swept that away if there was someone on the back post, but to Konate's joy there wasn't, and there was deadlock broken.
The blockers have actually blocked, then that might not have happened, but the second one here is all about Trent Alexander-Arnold's ball, just stood it up beautifully, and the run of Diaz and the awareness to see Mane running square of him, the awareness of Mane to hold his run, to stay onside, the weight of the header down to him was absolutely perfect, and something we've become accustomed to watching with Liverpool this season.
And Diaz there playing a pivotal role in that goal as well. But then, in the second half, it was a very different story. And Nunez, the very player we picked out in our pre-show, was the one that got the goal for Benfica.
Yeah, he was, yeah. And you have to say Konate has to do better. It was a bad mistake. It was just in a period where Liverpool just got a bit sloppy. And I think Benfica came out, they also got rollicking at half-time, and they came out strong, they came out quick. Rafa Silva was obviously the catalyst for it, but 9 times out of 10 Konate clears that. It goes through his legs. But you have to say Darwin Núñez's control and finish, because he's not expecting him to miss that. So for him to have the presence of mind with that first touch and to caress it in the corner, it was a wonderful finish, but from a Liverpool point perspective, not a great goal.
No, it wasn't, was it? Just a mistake there from Konate? The moment he switched off?
Yeah, and you know what? He played so well as well.
Yeah.
But that type of mistake sort of not gets the headlines because Liverpool have gone on to score 3 goals, but it was one that he'll go to bed tonight thinking, I would have been, top man today.
He was in the running for player of the match, wasn't he?
Until
that, and that's ultimately kind of like most defensive positions, like goalkeeper, centre-halves, they make one error that leads to a goal, and all the good work is wiped out, because otherwise I think he had an excellent performance.
He did, didn't he? And speaking of player of the match, it went to Luis Diaz, and this is why, because he actually got the third goal for Liverpool.
Yeah, it was the crucial goal, wasn't it? I think it was nice build-up play. I think it gets to Keita, and at first I think we thought what a fantastic ball, but it does take a slight deflection. I think he was actually going into his feet, Keita. Took a slight deflection and the turn of pace from Luis Diaz, and that was the killer blow for Benfica. You could see them after the game. I think here, look, he's going to his feet, but it takes a slight deflection, which makes the throughball perfection. And then a great finish from Luis Diaz.
You see the keeper's starting position, what he's thinking, he's trying to cut out, reduce the distance between the centre-halves and the forward players, but when the ball's played, he's backing off, which kind of negates that decision to have a high line. And what it does for the attacker is it makes his decision, big touch round him, as he did, and it's an easy finish.
I was just thinking exactly the same. I was running through there, I'd be thinking, thank God for the goalkeeper, you've just made my mind up. If you stay back, if actually, as you say, if you're moving on, if you're moving forward when you're about to strike the ball, it's much harder for a centre-forward. If you make your move first and then start retreating, you've got him, and he had all the momentum to go round him. He made it look easy. The goalkeeper made his mind up, and what a big goal that is.
It was a big goal, and they sort of needed that goal, didn't they? Because Benfica had so many chances, and it could have actually been a very different result, Mo, had they have made more of these chances.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, they did. I didn't look at any and think, wow, that's a sitter. If he scores that, it's an unbelievable finish. Liverpool here playing a high line, they're so brave in this situation, but as we touched on all season, that's why they're so dangerous going forward, because they're all in forward positions. This was really in a period of play that they had a lot of pressure, I'd say. They're another high line mistake, but they're so quick to get back and snuff out the danger. I didn't think that was a pen, personally.
Absolutely.
I know Peter Walton thought it might have been, but...
Yeah, not Peter Crouch. I think, he puts his hand on him, but I think Macca said it in commentary, just goes to ground so easily.
He did a lot,
I rate him as a player.
I
love him as a player. I think he's a really talented player. I think he will move on to bigger and better things, but does go to ground too easily.
Is there a button on his stomach or something where he pressed it and his legs went?
But as we were watching the game, we said that a lot about him, didn't we?
Yeah, he's a talented boy, no question about it. And as you said, we highlighted before the game how good he was, and the goal was brilliant. His first touch, as Crouchy touched on, was absolutely exquisite. But I think you need more of a contact, probably a shirt pull or something, to get a penalty there.
I've liked the start and the finish, maybe not so much the stuff in between.
Yeah, but in the end it's coming here, and winning an away game in a Champions League is tough, and obviously Benfica fought for their lives. Yes, we gave them a little bit, we opened the door a bit too much, but they deserved the goal as well, even when we could have defended obviously better, but it's not that they had absolutely no situation before. They had these counter-attacks, they set deep for the midfield press, won the ball when they won the balls. That's about us, but it's not easy to keep the ball all the time, and the further you go, the more risk you take, and you pass the ball through, you lose it there, they come in front of you, and from there they went, and have really good players. So it was a tough game, what I expected, especially when they scored. Obviously the crowd was there immediately. We knew it. You always know it. The 2-0 is nothing. It's nice, but not more. And they scored a goal. But then it was much more open than we wanted, obviously. But in the end, we should have scored in the first half. We could have scored in the second. The goalie was probably the best player, and they played a really good game. But the goalie was anyway the best player, so he made a couple of really good saves. And that's it. We won it. 2 goals up, half time, not more, not less. Let's keep going.
Ironically, for a team that scored 3 away, it felt like you could have had a few more.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, with the situation we had, we usually score more, but we didn't. I think mainly because of the goalie. Credit to him, and that's pretty much the story. But in the end, scoring 3, we could have scored in the last minute, second maybe. The fourth one would have been nice, but that's not. We're not in dreamland here, so it's about. It's half time. We have a better result, much better than before. We know much more about the opponent. They will go for it again. They won at Ajax. They grinded all the results out in the group stage, what they needed. So we are aware of the quality, and now we have a nice game in between, but then we will be ready again for Benfica.
Yeah, it is a rather nice game, isn't it? Especially when you're watching it as a fan. So let's talk about it, Crouchy. How much will the game against Manchester City determine who wins this title in the Premier League?
It's huge. It doesn't get bigger, does it? It's the two best teams in our country at the moment by a long distance, and it's a toss-up. I mean, City have been so fantastic this season, but Liverpool are in great form. It's just, who's in form on the day, really. I think Liverpool could go there and win, but listen, it could go either way.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think I'd go with City. Looking at some of the frailties that Liverpool have shown defensively, I think City can exploit that, and certainly their front three, how fluid they're looking. De Bruyne are in absolute top form, but it is a toss of a coin as well.
What about for you, Mo?
I think if City win it, I think 4 points and an easier running could be hard to catch. So I think Liverpool need to get something. Otherwise, it could be a difficult one, and Liverpool might be playing for FA Cup and Champions League.
Yes.
But it's going to be such a good game. I cannot wait.
I cannot wait either.